So in this video, I'm replacing my original screen in my Game Boy Advance with the backlit screen. I got this kit off of eBay, and here I'm just showing the two different screws that you get with it. One's a tri-wing, and one's a regular Phillips head screwdriver. And here I'm just taking out the game and taking out the batteries. Anyway, then I'm going to take the screws out with the tri-wing. I'm just double checking that it's a tri-wing, and just checking, and that's the tri-wing apparently. Okay, and so here I am taking the screws out, and I'm speeding things up quite a bit because this project took over an hour long, and so I didn't want to have the video in real time because that'd be pretty boring, and you probably don't want to sit through a video that long anyway. So I took the screws out, and now all I gotta do is lift up the top, the bottom, and it's pretty easy to lift the bottom off. And then once you have it off, that's what it looks like inside. Put off to the side, take off those side things just come off pretty easily, and then the shoulder buttons, they come off pretty easy, and just showing you how they're springy. Just like that. Yep. Anyway, that's what the inside looks like, and then this is the cable that connects to the screen. And so you need to take this off, and here you just flip up these tabs. There's two black tabs here. You just flip them up, and then you could take out the ribbon cable. Just be careful not to damage the cable, obviously. We're not going to be using. We're going to be replacing the screen, so but you might want to use that screen for something else. I don't know. And there's two more screws that you take out with a regular Phillips head screwdriver, and then you just lift off. And then we take off the pads. Yep, and I'm not sure what I'm explaining here, but just showing you what the motherboard looks like basically. Those are the shoulder buttons that I'm clicking. That's some of the circuitry. Let's put that off to the side. And then just take out the buttons. You just dump it out. Now we need to take the screen off. The screen is stuck to the face, this plastic here, and so here I just grabbed it's the tool that helps us pry up the screen, because there's you see this black double sticky tape, which we'll reuse later. So we just take the original screen off. That's the original screen. Put off to the side, and then this is the sticky tape here. We'll put that to the side for now, and then we just and so we're going to replace this too. So I also got a better, more durable face screen protector. So we put it off to the side, and that's what we're left with. Now if we flip this over, we just take the motor piece off. Okay, so this is the screen, the backlit screen we're going to place into the Game Boy Advance. However, when we place it in, you'll see that it doesn't exactly fit flush, and we want it to fit flush. And I'll show you in a second what we need to do. As I'll point out in a second, there's these raised pieces of plastic. And here I'm just comparing the two screens. There's these raised pieces of plastic right here that I'm pointing to that we need to scrape off. And here, in order to scrape those off, I'm using an X-Acto knife with a flat blade. And this works really, really well. And you could find this any hobby shop. I think I got mine at Michael's, but you could get off Amazon too, I'm sure. In here I'm just showing you how to scrape it off, and you just go around and just take off all those raised plastics all around there, and just fast forwarding it, speeding it up, and then I ended up losing most of the footage, so you'll see now that it's all done. And you can just, and it's really easy actually. I was surprised how easy it was to take it off with that. Now I could place the top screen back, and now it's sitting flush, which is what we want. Now what I'm showing here is I'm going to use the sticky tape in order to stick, but instead, before that, I'm showing that the back of the screen needs to have some sort of insulation. See that the original one had that insulation, but I can't peel it off, so I'll just use electrical tape to use for insulation, because you don't want metal touching the back of the motherboard. You could cause a short. So I'll just place the tape, the electrical tape, all over the back, so there's no metal showing, just like that. Now I'm placing it there just to check, see how it fits. Now I'm using this double sticky tape. I'm just cutting it up and just placing it inside, just so the new screen has something to stick to, so it doesn't move around, because it can move around from side to side. And now I place it in, and make sure it's centered, but I don't want to place it in just yet because there's a film over the screen that I want to take off first. But here I'm showing this connector. This is the connector that, since you can't connect the top screen directly into the motherboard because the ribbon cables are different, so this is kind of like the converter for the new screen. And so I'm just placing that in, pushing those tabs down, and there's this wire here which we actually need to solder to the motherboard. And so using air quotes there for some reason, and now I'm kind of showing you where you need to solder this. I'm not doing a really good job showing. I don't know if it's easy enough to see where I'm pointing, but I think it's the is it the R12? I kind of forgot this. I took this video for about 5 months ago, and then other things came up and I could not finish it. So here I'm soldering. And there we go. Then you just wrap, once you're done soldering. I mean, it's pretty. If you don't know how to solder, then this is not hard. I mean, this is an easy soldering task. You just touch it, and you can see how it's soldered there. You kind of just wrap the wire. Now we take off the film from the new screen. Take off that little bit too, so it's clean. Now you can place it in place. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get it centered right, because once it's on, I don't want to adjust it. Let's make sure, just get it right. Now I put the buttons back on. Make sure they're oriented correctly. I mean, it's hard. I mean, they have these little notches to make sure you don't put them in wrong. Now we have the motherboard. Now we're going to connect the screen cable to the cable on the motherboard. I'm just showing you how it fits, how it's supposed to fit on at the end. So, but first we need to place the. So yeah, let's do it this way instead. This might be easier to plug it in. So we just plug that in, and then we could flip it over. And so there's these little notches. You can probably see it on the middle ribbon cable that we're going to try to put there. Then we got to figure out how to have this ribbon cable lay flat. So I'm just going to take some electrical tape and tape it down so it stays in place. So you just kind of have to fold the ribbon cable a bit, as you can see, and then just tape it, and that's it. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let me just flip it over the motherboard and make sure it sits in place, that the wire there, the red wire, is kind of out of the way. Then once that's there, I'm going to show you the screws you need, the 2 screws that you put into the motherboard with the regular Phillips head screwdriver. Speed that up a bit, and then it's right there, and then just making sure that the buttons work. Then put in the shoulder buttons. Put those in, and then those side plastic things. Now with that, oh yeah, and we're going to put the that's the power plastic power switch, so we can turn it on and off. Okay. Now we need to place this back on. But we can see that the red wire is kind of in the way, so let's take it off and kind of readjust that. Make sure, kind of tuck it in there so it's out of the way. Now I can place the back part on and put the screws in. So I think there's 7 total screws we gotta put in. And you put them in with the tri-wing screwdriver. Now that that's in, we're going to put in the batteries. Then we still have to do the face plate. We're going to replace it with the new one, which is a lot more durable. It's made out of glass, a lot more hefty as well. And just need to peel off that. So we got the sticky part. And then this just took me a few seconds to figure out how to place it on correctly. But once we place that on, the only thing that's left is to place the battery cover on, which we'll do in a second. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, the project itself took over an hour, and this is the first time I've done it, so I've never done this before. But it was pretty easy to do. It wasn't that hard, so I think anybody could, figure it out. And it's worth it. I mean, I play it all the time. This was, like I said, this was like 5 months ago, and it still works great. Anyway, I hope you found the video useful, and I hope you give this a try. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.